We're back in Rivet Show. Day's wasting away. It's already 12:30. We just had some salami.
The worn map features the patchwork grid of the streets of Martinez. Your finger moves through the various streets. A crop finally coming to a halt on the spot where you are currently standing, although the map gives no such indication itself.
Stuck in the rain in a traffic jam, man. What's on your mind? I don't want to talk about that. Man, I was hoping it isn't going to be her. All I can say is, she isn't around here anymore. She isn't some evil drug trafficker. And I don't know where she is. I didn't, man. I told you, I was hoping it's not her.
It's true. We would of course a lie, but a kind heart is tricky. Emotional rhetoric. He knew something and he didn't share it with you. That's a fact.
Thank God I don't know. People here call her the lady driver. She kept her name a secret. A friend? An acquaintance. I don't know. She was the only person in this damn jam I could talk to. She's a youngish woman. Gruff.
What color hair?
Blue and violet. Dyed. It was violet when she got here. Blue before she went.
Then she may have dyed it again.
Damn, I don't want to... Please just let it go. Whatever
We can't just let it go.
That's how it always is with you, isn't it? All part of the investigation.
It won't come to that. We won't pursue her on this. This is information only.
I don't believe you. She's got the darkness in her. That young person's darkness when you think it's all over. And you're looking for a way out.
She shared this with you?
Yes. Which is why I don't want to snitch on her. It's snitching, man. I know what it is. I heard the rumors. I saw the other drivers looking at me strange when we talked. And she told me, too, that she's had a violent life. But I wasn't afraid of her. More like for her.
Did this violent life include drug trafficking?
Well, it looks like it did now. But we didn't talk about that. We talked about life, you know? She talked about the way it worked. The trouble it was giving her. Fuck, man. Go grill someone else with these questions, okay?
He's right. There are other options. The raceman, for one. The grey-haired woman. Maybe she knows something. Wait, this guy says they're friends. Then, acquaintances. And he's okay with others ratting her out.
I thought you were a different kind of cop. Here.
The keys to a motor lorry. Pretty complex.
Her lorry's still here. Down past the statue of Philippe. The cabin is green. You can get in there with these. That's all I know.
When did she leave?
Last Friday. I bet you are. Nah, I need to think my own thoughts now. Pray forgiveness for my sin.
An old monument stands in the middle of the traffic island, pointing toward the sea. It looks as if it's been, even by the standards of the Philippian kings, old sumptuous Philip was known for his profligacy. Well, he blew through the whole national treasury, starting the decline of one of the penultimate century's greatest superpowers, the suzerain of Revachol. His own maladministration foreshadowed the fall of the monarchy. During the anti-centennial revolution, an end to his family line and the monarchy on the Insulindian Isola. Stories have it that he had his bedroom converted into a treasure chamber, where he stored unfathomable wealth. Krugerrands, bars of gold, ornate weaponry, armor, and various chalices. He called it the Sol Aurum. It was obscene. There were whispers he slept on a huge pile of gold-dipped feathers, like some obese dragon, instead of a bed, like a normal person. But wait, you haven't even heard about his fabled cocaine addiction. You see, old Philippe wasn't just good at squandering the national treasury on not just any nose candy, though. We're talking Royal Philippian blow, allegedly twice as potent as the stuff you find nowadays, and purple. Philippian cocaine was purple. Beneath the cold waters of the Insulindian Bay, thrown there by the revolutionaries after they cleaned out the royal mausoleum. The original was blown apart by communards, then further damaged during the landing of the coalition's airships during the turn-of-the-century revolution, when Martinaise was leveled. Most historians think the coalition's hasty landing may have ultimately saved the statue. If the communards had more time, they would have reduced it up to even finer pieces. Some years ago, a group of liberal, artistically inclined individuals, designers mostly, thought it would be ironic to restore the statue of the most wasteful ruler of Revachol in the poorest part of the city. The statue is supposed to capture the moment it was blown apart, like an instant frozen in time, a rare butterfly trapped in amber, floating on a sea of shit. Neither do people in Martinaise. The statue has proved to be controversial in a neighborhood mostly populated by the left-leaning working class. Those critics might have it wrong, though. There's more to it than just ironism, but you can't say what precisely. Perhaps this art mystery will be solved at a later time. Philip III, the squanderer, however, with his bronze face up in the air, doesn't seem concerned about what the hoi polloi think of him in death. Not that he ever did in life either. This green faun, A to Z, contemporain, is parked in the shadow of the ruins looming overhead. It's seen better days.
This is the one our men pointed to.
You push the key into the lock and turn. It makes a cracking sound. Then the door pops back a few centimeters. You can just... The smell of cigarettes and perfume welcomes you. The cabin inside is plastered with old movie posters. Actresses smile from the walls. There's a radio transmitter in the front and a toolbox tucked under the driver's seat. Some tools lie scattered near the pedals. These are movie posters featuring starlets from long-forgotten films from the 20s, the teens, even the 90s of the last century. One of them particularly catches your eye. A centerfold of an ingenue attached right above the back seat. The actress is draped in a sheathed dress, one of her shoulders bared. The faded remains of an autograph run across the poster. Wait, doesn't she resemble someone you know? But you can't put your finger on whom exactly. This is Tijon, a starlet from the dawn of cinematography, less known for her talent than her tragic, untimely death. She wasted away in a drug den called the Door to the River, not far from here on Boogie Street, a mixture of cocaine and morphine. She was afraid of the world and the camera, too. The actresses and the rear actor all smile you a warm goodbye. Looks like the frequency dial is absent. It requires a key to work, but the key has been removed, likely by the missing lady driver.
Strange. There are so many radio stations saved here. Must be over 100 at least. Doesn't look like it. It's completely inoperable without a dial key. For contacting an entire fleet of lorrymen, for example. This is all shortwave, UW and UK. Looks like we are dealing with an impressive organizational tool. The nerve center of a huge operation, with quite a range too.
A 20-kilometer radius at least, perhaps extended by an attachable antenna that's not here right now. The smell of you wedge yourself under the steering wheel to get a better look. Seems like the few tools lying around here, a hammer, a pair of pliers, a rusty wrench, have been casually thrown there by the disorganized driver. But one odd detail does catch your eye. A piece of sandpaper has been glued to the throttle. Sandpaper adds extra grip.
Sandpaper? A novel technique? Yes? Which means that the missing lady driver was present at the lynching. We've identified one of the footprints, but there are still 7 to go.
The movie stars are still smiling from the walls. There's a radio a metallic drawer slides out from the seat. It's an issue of Party Elysuim from last Wednesday. A piece of paper falls out from its pages. It looks like an article ripped out from a radio enthusiast magazine. Complex mathematical equations explain the basics of something called the ULAN frequency system.
The ULAN frequency system? I've never heard of that before. I know of FM, AM, UKV, but...
The pull-out tool can slide close the rusty...
Great. I think we got everything. A word, detective? All right, we've finished here. Let's quickly debrief and go over what we found, so we don't do it in front of the company rep. Honestly, I'm quite worried by what we've seen so far. The evidence seems to point to a rather extensive and well-organized operation. I'm especially intrigued by that radio transmitter, particularly the sheer number of stations it can connect. Looks like this alleged drug trade casts a wide net.
This means it's well-funded. Technology like that, a major player must be financing it.
I'm not sure what the ULAN frequencies are all about, but they may hold some significance. Perhaps it's a better way to connect between fleets while avoiding frequency bleed, or maybe it's used to tap into RCM networks. As elegant as they are, I don't think they are relevant to the drug trade.
Don't be fooled. Desire always plays a role.
Yes, well... We didn't find anything conclusive linking them to the smuggling operation. But somehow, I doubt that Evrard Clare would be oblivious to something like this happening right under his nose. My suggestion is, we use it against the Union in any way we can, to our own ends. It's a slippery hill, but we just might be able to pin them down, indirectly, down the road.
In short, this is a future angle. Possibly a good one.
We should return to the murder case, see what Joyce tells us about the lynching. When we are done for the day, I call my station and suggest our narcotics department look into it. There are more than enough grounds to start an official investigation, sometime later when we're done here. We do not want to get caught in that. The fact that one hasn't started already gives me pause. An investigation, I mean. Especially if the Madrid grouping is involved. And all the same, I don't like the idea of internal affairs descending on the matter. Debrief over. After...
unpromising race pupil returns. Don't be vulgar. White or not has got little to do with this. The race enigma runs much deeper than that. Mr. Clare is a man of vision and means. He has the will to confront international capital, something your race, naivistic communists, never did. Jam, individualism. You have gotten these ideas from degenerate youth culture, have you not? Offshoots of the Seminoles people invented disco while having sex under the influence of cocaine. It is a shame upon my race. But what is done is done. I am not surprised you enjoy it so much. This has happened to many of the side products of the inevitable cultural victory of the Seminoles raid. Meshhead stoically looks to the distance in silence. And look, babe. When confronted with the harsh truth of his demise, the melancholic academician starts fiddling his own genitalia. His bald spot betrays that he is a compulsive masturbateur.
That's disgusting, Jean.
It is. Beneath the veneer of academic jargon, the liberal theorist is a beast, a sexual maniac, and a deprived nihilist. Life is a game to him. Words are meaningless. No one is accountable for anything. Nihilistic sex maniac. I take pity on your urges. You clearly want to enter the harbor bad, like a little boy who wants to go on the potty. I can press the button for you. It will very well. You may enter the door once.
Finally. Let's go.
On second glance, someone has forgotten to properly close one of the drawers.
It's unfortunate for the Union to just leave their paperwork lying around like this.
The drawer opens smoothly. Inside is a well-organized selection of brown folders, hundreds of documents containing logistical data. Two kinds of transactions stand out. Materials coming into Revachol from the outside world, from Muindi, Grad, and even Ilmara, and the same materials being handed over to companies inside Revachol. Kuron, Coal City, La Delta, and Jamrock are listed among the many districts where the imports are being sold. It's hard to make sense of this thicket of company names, dates, quantities, and percentages. You try to focus.
Whatever's hidden here is hidden well. Concentration isn't enough. Only a trained accountant with a background in logistics would be able to really make sense of it.
It appears to be a to-do list written in large, uneven capital letters. Remember, Leo, Everard's shoes, special whirling borscht, water Everard's plants, sweep office floor, more banners. All items on the list have been crossed out and the note itself is crumpled.
Everard Clare, probably, the head of the Debarders Union. One of his aides must have left it. Nothing incriminating here.
The special borscht seems a bit odd in the list. What is so special about this borscht? Code for... Remember, Leo, Everard's shoes. Special all items on the list. The drawer slides shut. The front of this quarterly journal features a large satirical portrait of the late King Fri because Friesel was incompetent, foolish, and cruel. To your disappointment, there aren't any full-color pictures to direct your attention. After rifling the pages with your thumb, the magazine is divided into several sections. International developments, Kunst und Kultur, and local concerns. Comrade, as you know, this journal takes its name from Mazov's immortal expression, Du cristal à la fumée. This was his way of describing the way the rigid, crystalline structures of capitalist ideology turned to smoke under communism. But, like the structures of capitalist ideology, we too are at risk of going à la fumée. Unlike many publications which are content to spoon-feed their readers reassuring drivel, La Fumée is committed to telling the radical truth, even when that truth may drive away potential subscribers. Only 4 issues in, and it sounds like they've already alienated their readership. So please, if you value our radical Mazovian perspective on contemporary politics, culture, and international affairs, please consider subscribing today.
What do you expect? It was laying around the office of the Debarders Union. They're probably bankrolling the thing.
You flip back to the front of the magazine. The table of contents unfolds before you. Unsurprisingly, much of this section is you skim the headlines. Paint the harbor red and white. Martinez tames the... Finally, there's a brief article by the writer, G. Ah, this must be Gaston's handiwork. According to these editorials, there can be no accommodation with the forces of international capital or their mucilaginous allies in the... You flip back to the front of the magazine. It takes a moment. Why they decided to... As you leaf through the main feature, the tip-top tournée, you think you're set instead. Where to even start? So, all of it, basically. And that precisely is what's problematic. At the end of the day, it's the destruction of these... Sure, you think that, but that's because you...
Ah, come on. Can this... Well, if I had to...
You flip back to the front of
Sorry,
this
I'm
section.
skipping through this
Whoa,
book.
whoa, whoa. Bear wrestling. Flip back to that. It seems to be part of a new public... According to this extremely credulous account. Of course not. The article makes plain that this, according to the SRV's ministry, this is the SRV we're talking about. If you think that's very much the idea. President Kaczynski, as long you flip back to the...
What the hell was that about? I don't know. What, destruction buster?
An imposing combination of a punch clock and a payphone is looking down at you from the wall. The machine swallows your coin and seems to be waiting for your next move. It's unclear whether you actually have muscle memory. Right now, your finger is just drawing vague. Undoubtedly, no. Sure, why not? The tarpaulin cloak is still hanging on the railing. The white rectangle of... As your fingers touch the tarpaulin, it almost... This is the night watchman's booth. Listen, it's okay to take a few minutes to yourself. Sit down and have a breather. The chair is not as austere as the rest of the booth. A thin grey pillow is attached to the seat, secured to the stiles by black ribbons. Stale air floods through your nostrils. Not a single mote of dust floats inside your lungs, though. The drawers are empty, save for old timesheets and receipts. One small box, however, does hold some cheap painkillers. They are slightly out of date.
I'm not here to tell you what to do, Detective.
Oh boy, where to start? Elevated risk of dementia, mini strokes, prophet's disease, sudden death, hair death, erectile malfunction, critical flatulence, watery blood, black mucus, uncontrollable weeping, increased sensitivity to La Opera, inoperable joint disorder, totals. Don't think about that. Quick, think about something else. Maybe this was a bad idea. You take the painkillers. They are yours now. You stand and...
If you must. But
Nothing incriminating catches your eye. The cabinets are clean. It's a black and white photo of a young couple out in a street fair. The man, René.
why did you take that picture of René? Of course you are. What murder investigation would be complete without an arbitrary photo collage?
This is the night watchman. control panel with several knobs. 2 buttons marked Marsh and Arrête. Marsh. On. Arrête. Off. With a loud grind, the crane shifts overhead, moving a massive metal container through the air. And with a surprisingly quiet, the harbor sleeps as the strike rages in the distance. The crane can rest again, now that its purpose has been fulfilled. Moving this container, of course.
I can't see how that was worth the wreckers, except for seeing the crane in action, which I...
Before you stands a cargo container, just one of many in the...
Is this like your thing with that wall again? There are a million containers here. Why are you fixating on this one? It's a cargo container, Detective, just like all the others. We are not here to interact with containers. We are here to interview the...
No reply. The knock produces a hollow ring of metal. Doesn't sound like... You attempt to turn the handle, to no avail. The doors seem to be mechanically locked. To your left, the lieutenant considers your actions with some puzzlement. Why are you even trying to open a door with rhetoric?
Because what wasn't an option? Now is not the time to get philosophical, Detective. You can do that after hours.
You're back before the cargo container. Its drawer has not lessened. You're back before the cargo container. Its drawer, and as it's always been, it's impossible to open a container.
container, I'll turn you nice.
The lyrics to this container song are being made up as he. The accent is so thick, it's impossible not to notice he's Ubi. From the vanishing
Container, container, used to be Wild Pines. Container, container, now belongs to Everard. Everard. I see you are not a union man, mister. Did you get lost? You're not one of... I mean, I don't personally mind. Folks is just folks, you know, and folks gotta eat. Just some of the other guys don't look too kindly on the scabbing kind, if you know what I mean, mister. Oh, I'm just making some covers for them containers here. Yes, I am. So it's easier for the crane operators to spot them.
Everything is so pretty and red. You and Leo look like brothers. The old man whistles and hums a jaunty tune.
Oh, that one. That should be empty as far as I know. Lots of...
Told you.
Oh, yes. I leave all kinds of notes for myself. That old head of mine ain't so good at keeping things in no more. Oh, yes. I've been taking special whirling borscht to the men every day since the strikes. It's very, very good. Makes a man feel so warm and happy. I feel like I could take on Mr. Renadan's boar dogs every time the lunch is done.
Power borscht, huh? Never heard of a borscht that turns little guys into dogfighters. Alcohol, however.
Yes. I'm taking it to them. The borscht keeps them happy and in fighting spirits. Oh, the whirling's cook. He makes it. Them is always talking with Mr. Manana in that weird language and laughing together. Oh, sure, mister. Sure.
He didn't actually understand what you meant, and now he's just nodding along.
Oh, you want Mr. Everett then? He's an old... Guys like Mr. Everett and Mr. Edgar, his brother, are real good guys. Made Martinez what it is. Oh, Mr. Everett is where he always is. In his office, of course. Bye-bye now.
Before you is a walrus of a man seated behind a large desk. He looks up from his work, not the least bit surprised to see. With great effort, he straightens himself up in his chair, yet says nothing. With a mixture of expectation and impatience, well bottled.
Welcome, Mr. Dubois, Mr. Kitsuragi. It's good of you two to stop by. Please, have a seat. I'm Everard Clare, head of the Debarders Union here in Martinez. I'd offer you my hand, but unfortunately my health prevents me from getting up.
He looks extremely comfortable. The tiny folding chair, on the other hand, looks like a torture device.
You go ahead, detective.
Whatever he has in store for you, forget about that. What's with this Dubois stuff? You're getting some seriously bad vibes from...
Please, Mr. Dubois, let us converse in a civil... Very well, Mr. Dubois. I respect a man with strong... I, too, have convictions. What should you find yourself more amenable in the future, I'd gladly resume our conversation.
You're no Titan of Felician, buddy. He's got you in a fork. Sit down or leave.
Excellent, Mr. Dubois. I can see that you're a reasonable man, and reasonable men. So tell me, how can the head of the Debarders Union help a representative?
The chair you're sitting on has got to be the most uncomfortable chair in the world. It's violating your back.
Oh, by the way, I heard you got a rather rude reception from a certain Lawrence Gart. Some people have no manners, it pains me to say. This should take care of that nonsense. It should be sufficient to cover your expenses for a few days and patch over your differences with a cafeteria manager.
Wow, that's 25 real. That's good money. You need it.
Okay. I respect a man with principles. Now, I'd like to set your mind at ease about one other matter. Your lost gun. Let me assure you, Union people are on it as we speak. I've got my best hounds looking for that lost gun.
His slug-like lips. The world is swallowed by a black hole of fear. Only 2 words escape its gravitational pull. Lost. When he said, "Don't worry," he actually meant, be very worried.
Are you all right, Harry? You seem anxious. It's not like you left it loaded. You didn't lose a loaded gun. Local children aren't out there playing with it right now, pointing it into their own mouth.
It was loaded. There were 2 bullets in it. You always keep at least 2 barrels loaded.
Officer, we will deal with this later.
I wouldn't be so sure about that.
God, you're sweating. Your knee is jerking. You're about to cry, aren't you? You're about to cry because you lost your gun and those children are gonna shoot themselves.
Mr. Dubois.
What is this, Mr. Dubois? He keeps repeating.
Mr. Dubois! Mr. Dubois! Harry! Mr. Dubois, are you okay? Can I get you a glass of water or something? Are you having some kind of medical emergency?
Maybe you could use your hands somehow, in a kind of throw-in motion, like you're throwing that Mr. Dubois act right back at him. He's Mr. Dubois.
What an odd demonstration of... you got me, Harry. I don't even know what. As entertaining as it was, I'm afraid we're wasting our time, and I'm in extreme...
Okay, enough. We are here to ask you some questions pertaining to a murder investigation.
Quick, here's your window. Get yourself together and ask him questions. Police officer questions. It is about time to stop embarrassing yourself. Questions will help you regain some of your lost dignity.
My dear Harry, there are literally millions of containers in this harbor. Harry, you smooth-talking son of a bitch.
Smooth talking. Maybe that's the way to go about opening the container. You should at least try.
What? Harry, how could you say that to me? You know I appreciate a joke as much as any jolly fat guy, but I can't take slander. Are you actually investigating this?
The reaction appears to be sincere, but it's impossible to tell with this.
You've hurt me, Harry. Me, a friend. But you know what? I trust you, like I trust all my friends. And I know you'll never talk to me about this again, because you don't want to wound me. So do what...
He's hiding his real reaction.
Thank you for your understanding. We will.
You too, Lieutenant. You know, I like...
None taken. Did we have anything else to do here, Harry?
Of course. Let us dispatch with a...
That's what the hanged corpse called you.
My God, so it's true. I didn't want to believe it, but you are a fantastic science fiction amnesiac cop, aren't you?
I think the odds of that are very low.
It might be a good idea to hide your confusion. I mean...
So good to hear that, Harry. Apparently my sources were wrong. However, if you did have a spot of memory trouble, I could help you out. With my big fat folder.
Words flow like a river of honey from his lips. I guess word has already reached him. It's just a brown folder. You can't make out what's written on it.
Are you trying to tell me you've gotten hold of some of our documents?
Mr. Kitsuragi, would you mind? Me and Harry are talking about his lost identity right now.
Don't just jump to the folder. That's not smart. Shows you're on the edge. Do some probing first. Everart's large hands are covering the folder, but the look on his face says...
I'm sure it's not that bad. At worst, he has an old RCM folder.
Harry, I just know the things that matter to our friendship, and I want you to feel free to ask me. Harry, you're not simply a cop, you're a star. A bright shining star in the drab law enforcement sky. Nonsense, Harry. You lit up this container when you walked in here. You're my golden...
He's probably just making a guess based on your recent activity in Martinez.
Ah, this? My friends in your organization gave it to me, Harry.
This translates into, haha, You guys are so corrupt.
I find that very suspicious. May I have a look?
I'm afraid this is meant for Union eyes only, Mr. Kitsuragi. I'm sure you understand. Please continue, Harry. It's Harry. Harry Dubois. No, I'm really not. Fine, Harry. You can even be Harry Raphael Dubois de Costo. Or... Mr. Kitsuragi doesn't seem... Of course, Harry, of course. Let's not linger on personal... Honestly, I didn't want to bring it up, Harry. I heard you have become Measurehead's race pupil. Personally, I'm not big on the whole race thing, but that's okay. It's all right to be a massive racist, Harry. Let me assure you, I'm very glad you're comfortable sharing this with me. I run a big and quirky organization. Everyone is welcome. Anyway, I assure you, I am a very well-informed man. Information reaches me before I even get the chance to request it. Oh, of course. I mean, it's no secret that the lynching is connected to the strike. So much to talk about. Honestly, it's been weighing on me so heavily. I understand you need to interview me. But there's a thing that's been keeping me up at night. I want to talk about the hanging.
Yes, that sounds good.
But I can't think straight with this thing weighing on me. You're police officers, aren't you? I have a crazy idea. You guys are basically door-opening machines, and I'm sure you're going to open this one with flying colors.
An excellent opportunity presents itself, sire. You could win the trust of the arch-liar. Pretend to play.
Fantastic, my friend. You can get the key from Manana. He's down by the gates. Manana's like a free agent in the Union. Special operations. Hardened socialist. A real free thinker, too. He'll tell you precisely where the door is. One last thing, Harry. Just open the door. You don't need to go in or anything. I just want that weasel to come home and see the unlocked door. I don't know what that means. You know what? Don't even tell me. Whatever...
He sincerely has no idea.
Oh, that's very nice. I haven't gotten around to her yet. One thing I want to make very clear, Harry, is that this is not some kind... Yes, we're all trying to do what's best for Martinez. Don't feel like you shouldn't work... Of course, Harry. Let me just assure you one more... I have no interest in what she is doing. Tell her about all of it. My brother's picture, my singing swordfish clock. Tell her how overweight I am and how...
It is rather interesting to tell people things about each other, isn't it? It was nice telling him about her right now.
Yes, your gun will...
The only way to find it seems to be...
Yes, thank you for the hot tip regarding your lost gun, Harry. My men have indeed factored in. Now please, let the professionals do their job. Kick back.
It did not come as a surprise to him. He might actually not be bullshitting.
Damn it, Harry. That's exactly what it means. I'm only kidding, of course.
Of course. I understand. We help you, you help us.
Wait. You need this to get in and out through the gate. Here. You're one of us now.